Most dog owners believe they're doing everything right, but there are a few things dogs value that almost no one actually does. And once you understand these, you'll start seeing your dog's behavior very differently. These are not tricks, commands, or training techniques that people talk about all the time. They are small, specific behaviors that dogs respond to in ways most owners never notice. And the difference is subtle but important. Because dogs don't respond to what we think matters, they respond to what actually feels consistent to them. This is why some dogs feel deeply connected to their owners while others feel slightly distant. The difference is often not effort, but understanding. So as we go through these, pay attention to what your dog already does. Because chances are, they've been responding to these signals all along. The first thing dogs love is when you remain predictable in your behavior. Not rigid, but consistent enough that they can understand what to expect. Dogs rely on patterns more than anything else. And when your behavior follows a pattern, your dog feels more stable and confident. The second thing dogs love is when you notice small changes in them. Not just obvious behavior, but subtle shifts in energy or attention. This tells your dog that you are aware of them in the same way they are aware of you. And that creates a stronger connection over time. The third thing dogs love is when you respond at the right moment. Timing matters more than intensity or volume. A well-timed response feels clear to a dog. A delayed response feels uncertain, even if the intention is good. The fourth thing dogs love is when you stay calm in situations where they might feel unsure. Your stability becomes their reference point. This is why dogs often look to you before reacting. They are checking whether your behavior confirms what they should do next. The fifth thing dogs love is when you move with intention. Not randomly, but in a way that feels consistent and readable. Because when your movement makes sense to your dog, they don't need to guess what comes next. The sixth thing dogs love is when you allow them to observe before acting. Instead of rushing them, you give them a moment to understand the situation. This reduces uncertainty and allows your dog to stay connected to you. It also prevents unnecessary tension from building. The seventh thing dogs love is when you stay aware of their position around you. Not controlling it, but noticing it. This tells your dog that their presence matters. And that awareness strengthens how they relate to you. The eighth thing dogs love is when you don't overwhelm them with constant input. Too many signals can feel confusing instead of helpful. Clarity often comes from less, not more. And dogs respond better to simple, consistent cues. The ninth thing dogs love is when you maintain the same energy across situations. Sudden changes in tone or behavior create uncertainty. When your energy feels stable, your dog doesn't need to adjust constantly. That creates a smoother interaction overall. The 10th thing dogs love is when you give them space without disconnecting. Being present without pressure is something dogs respond to strongly. This allows your dog to choose connection rather than being forced into it. And that choice strengthens the bond more than anything else. What makes these behaviors important is not how difficult they are. It is how rarely they are done consistently. Most people focus on commands and training. But dogs focus on patterns and clarity. That difference is where most misunderstandings begin. Because what feels important to us is not always what matters to them. Dogs are constantly reading behavior, even when nothing obvious is happening. They are paying attention to small details most people ignore. Which means your dog is always learning from what you do. Not just when you are training, but in everyday moments. This is why small changes can have a big impact. Because they shift how your dog interprets you over time. A dog that experiences consistency begins to trust the pattern. And that trust affects every interaction that follows. A dog that experiences uncertainty begins to rely on themselves. And that changes how they respond to you. This is not about doing everything perfectly. It is about doing a few important things consistently. Because consistency creates clarity. And clarity is what dogs respond to most. Once you start noticing these patterns, your dog's behavior becomes easier to understand. And that understanding changes how you interact with them. Because what your dog loves is not always obvious. But once you see it, it becomes impossible to ignore.